Okay, so after vowing to never bother trying to find a capsule again to work with the E4K Plus, because out of all the tests I've ever done, I've never been happy. Yesterday I did a couple of quick tests which proved very insightful and were a bit of an eye-opener. So what I've done, I've come out today to carry on with a few more tests and just to find out what's going to be the best system out of what I've been able to match up so far. So basically what this is, it's a little system that I'm building which is for my Z-Cam E1. Now because the Z-Cam E1 doesn't have any like power sending down its cable and doesn't have a microphone input, it has a line one. I've had to find a solution for that whereby I can power an electric capsule or a lavalier. Right, it's raining a bit here, so I'm gonna have to be a little careful. Yeah, so I've had to try and find a solution, and it's windy. I've had to try and find a solution for me E1, but it just happens to be that this particular solution, which is what I'm calling my modular nano condenser self-powered system, seems to work quite well on the 4K Plus. Now that's aside from the 4K Plus's limited let's see, bitrate for audio, which I can get around anyway, and also the fact that regardless, the 4K Plus will add its own noise, so any noise in this particular test is not going to be generated by the capsules, it's going to be generated by the inherent noise floor of the 4K Plus. So what I'm going to do is just run through a number of capsules in low and high mode and then just see which ones kind of like, work. So at the moment, what it is, I'm on a capsule which I took out of the Comica VM10, and that's now placed on like a little temporary system onto my power supply for my modular nano like condenser system. So yeah, so this is the VM10 capsule, and I'm in low mode on the Yi. I'll just stay quiet for a little bit and we'll just get an idea of what the noise is like. Okay, yeah, so that'll give us an idea for noise. So what I'm going to do now is flip over into high mode on this capsule. Okay, so this is now the Comica VM10 capsule in high mode on my little nano system. Now, another thing as well to bear in mind here is that when I get into post, because the low mode actually caps out at about -8 on playback, and usually the high mode actually goes into clipping just a little tad over 0. What I'm going to be doing during this test is to use some very quick dynamics processing in the edit, and that's basically just some like limiting to do some gain reduction to stop peaks, and then what it is, then I re-level it back up and then put a ceiling limiter, as it were, or just like a brick wall at -0.1, so it doesn't exceed 0. Now if it distorts going in, that won't make any difference to the output, that will still distort. But in the instances where it feels like it's getting a bit too close to 0, just putting that ceiling on it can also help it as well to not peak over. That's only in very minor instances of very quick transients and stuff. If it's consistently distorting, it won't matter. Whatever you do in post, distortion is always going to be there. Okay, yeah, so that's a basic of what I'm doing. So they are going to be processed, but that's also to try and match them a bit more on playback, just to get a more realistic sound out of what's to be expected with a full production, as it were, once it hits YouTube or wherever it goes. Okay, so this is going to be a good enough example of the Comica VM10 in high mode. Oh yeah, and just a little bit of noise, just to gauge noise as well. Okay, so I'm now on what I'm referring to as Capsule 3, and I'm in low mode. Now what it is, Capsule 3 has come out of a microphone that I bought a couple of weeks ago. I basically found this microphone for 20 quid, which was like a little tiny shotgun styled mic. It wasn't a shotgun, and it had an internal battery which could be charged over USB, which would have made it a brilliant little tiny microphone, and an amazing price for 20 quid. The only problem is it wasn't very good. So what I decided to do was replace the capsule in it with a Primo, because Primo capsules are the best ones anyway. or at least the best ones for like without paying stupid money. So what I'd done anyway, as I was opening it up, I inadvertently nicked the battery. So once you've done that, it's ruined. You know, I wasn't going to chance messing around with the battery that had an issue. So anyway, so I ditched the mic but retrieved the capsule. But surprisingly, there was 2 capsules inside it, which goes in this little weird, like, you know, like configuration, which I don't understand what its use is for. I think it's something to do with high gain, because a lot of these Chinese mics use these 2 capsules and have a high gain setting. Regardless, anyway, it had 2 mic capsules in. I tested them on something else, and they actually sounded way better outside of the microphone that they were in, you know, compared to like being inside the mic. Do you know what I mean? So this is what is Capsule 3. Now the only problem is with Capsule 3, or Capsule 3 or Capsule 1, which is the VM10. The problem that I'm going to have with them is that if they do prove to be, you know, really good, it's going to be tough to say to people, look, go and buy one of these mics and wreck it to get the capsules out. Now, unfortunately, I don't have enough bodies to put all my capsules in at the moment for this system. But I do have a Primo EM184, which is a cardioid, because both of these are cardioids. I'm not testing directionality on this test or anything, just to make sure that they're working. And if they are working, then I'll do more extensive testing for directionality and such, and then I will do a final YouTube how to build the system. Yep, so basically, the easier option would be to recommend the Primo EM184, because it is a readily available capsule from micbooster.com, and it's a fantastic capsule, although it's a bit more insensitive than both of these capsules, so would need raising more in post. I will be doing definite tests with that. It's just right now I didn't have enough little like things to solder them on to put in here. Okay, so that's gonna have given me enough idea of what the Capsule 3 is in low mode. So I'll do a bit of silence, then I'll go into high mode on Capsule 3. Okay, so this is Capsule 3 again, or what I'm calling Capsule 3, and this time I'm in high mode. Now there is a little bit of wind, and I've only got a small foam filter on this system. Hopefully it's handling these little slight breezes at the moment. Now the other thing here as well, my position here is a typical like vlogging position. I've got the Yi in 2.7K medium field of view, and also I've kind of got the lens distortion correction switched in as well, because me personally, I prefer a more traditional field of view, and I don't particularly want barreling. It still will do a bit of barreling and whatnot, but this is about the best I can get it. And at 2.7K as well, especially if you're shooting other stuff, you've got a bit of latitude for optical movement once you go into an edit without having to zoom beyond the pixel range if you are actually editing in 1080. Anyway, yeah. Oh, and the other thing here as well, the test yesterday, what it is, because I've modified my 4K Plus so I can so I can do manual focus. Seeing if we can pick that bird up, so I can do manual focus with it. Now the thing is, my last few tests, I think I'd had it set for my best infinity focus distance, so I was probably out of focus slightly. So hopefully on this one, in fact, let me get out to a bit of sun. It's just that it's raining a bit, right? So I should be a lot better lit here, although I might get rain on the lens. So this will give me an idea of the focus now. This will be playing and edited in 1080, but I'm not going to be blowing into it. I'll just resize directly. Also, I use the Lanxos 3 filter as well with inside my NLE for doing resizing, which is probably the best one to use, or the best free algorithm that you can use for doing resizing and stuff. So it resizes very well. Yeah, so hopefully anyway, this focus is being set properly for this distance now, because I can get this to look dead sharp. Hopefully it is at varying distances. What it is usually, I have them marked off around the barrel, but I took the marker paper off the top, which indicated where the marks were for various focal points. Anyway, this has been Capsule 3, or what I call Capsule 3. In high mode. I'll do a bit of silence, and then what I'm going to do, although this is primarily a cardioid test because it's for vlogging, I'm actually going to try my Primo EM172, which is the most amazing Omni. So a bit of silence, then I'll flip over. Okay, so now on to my Omni capsule of choice, and this is the Primo EM172. And if anybody comes across this video, although it's going to probably be hidden, I will invite people to look at it who have an interest in these things. And if so, all the Primo stuff and the clippy stuff that I use, I get them all from micbooster.com. In fact, although I don't normally have descriptions in these videos, I'll have some in this one. So go there, because Mic Booster are an amazing company to deal with for getting all your microphones. They do a lot of pre-built mics. They build power supplies. They build all kinds of stuff, attenuation systems, boosters. In fact, I think they got the name Mic Booster from one of their products, which is a gain stage for, I think, mostly for dynamics and stuff. Anyway, yeah, so that's what I'm using right now, is the Primo EM172 omnidirectional capsule. I'm in low mode right now. Right, let me just take a walk out, see if it's still raining. I'm under the tree here. Oh, it's still raining. Oh, I hate that. Anyway, yeah, I'm just hoping that this works. Now, what it is, if I plug this Primo capsule direct into the Yi, regardless of whether it's in low or high mode, and I'm in low mode at the moment, regardless of what mode I'm in, it'll distort straight off, because what it is, the Primo EM172 is not only very sensitive, but has an amazingly healthy output on it as well. It can drive everything. The only problem is, anyone who uses a 4K Plus will know, they don't like to have loud signals put in. Now, what my hope is here is that with this power supply system and the way that it works, because the Primo's not powering, I'm wondering if that might help a bit, because I'm sending power into it, or the microphone's being pre-powered. And on top of that as well, there may just be some kind of an impedance balance that matches the system better. Now, this definitely would distort with this capsule just wired straight to the Yi's mic input. But let's just hope that this is doing something good, because this is an amazing microphone. And another thing with it as well is, because it's an Omni, you can talk from behind it, so you can be looking at stuff. I haven't got an image stabilizer on here or anything, but anyway, you could be walking around narrating things and looking at stuff. Oh, look at that, it's a lovely tree in the middle of the park. Oh, would you ever have guessed that? Yet, so basically, with it being an Omni, you know, it's great for certain stuff, especially environments like this, where you don't have a ton of other noises going on. So therefore, an Omni works really well. The other thing with an Omni, they tend to have a more fuller, tone to them as well, because they don't have some, certain restrictions that a cardioid would have, due to the way that it has to do certain phase things in order to cancel stuff out, so it can get rid of stuff from the rear and to the sides and stuff. Anyway, I'm yammering. So basically, this was the Primo EM172 capsule on the system in low mode. I'll do a bit of silence, then I'll go to this in high mode. Alright, so this is now the Primo EM172 in high mode. Now, if this were plugged directly in, this would be blowing the brains out of the 4K Plus. In fact, I've got a test up where I use a clippy EM172, which is a Mic Booster lavalier, which uses this capsule. And even in low mode it distorts, but when you're going in high mode, it absolutely wipes out the Yi. So I don't know, this is probably going to wreck it, but at the same time, the reason why I'm doing these tests is because I believe I may now have the perfect solution, or the best solution. It's never going to be perfect with the Yi, but I've got a feeling that this solution is going to, somewhere along the line, one of these capsules is going to be ace. And I may even be surprised with this capsule in high gain mode as well. Might be good. Another thing to bear in mind with this capsule, it is amazingly quiet. Its self noise is virtually, you can't hear it realistically. Anyway, so that's enough yammering, because I am starting to yammer now. I'm flagging. I need coffee. The thing is, I have coffee. If I have too much, I yammer. If I don't have enough, I start yammering, blah blah. It's boring. Okay, so what I'll do the silence on this, and then this test will end. But what will happen here, if whoever I kind of link these to, if they want to leave me some comments or get in touch at YouTube at davidharry.com. Just I'd be interested to know what people think of this, but I'm definitely gonna pursue this until I get the best option out of this, and then I will do a how-to on YouTube, because I'm fairly sure there's going to be a lot of E4K Plus owners out there who would love to have decent audio off an external microphone. Okay, so a bit of silence and then the test will end.